Did your dog bite somebody and you're worried you're going to be liable for their damages? Check out this short video to learn more. Hey everybody, this is Barry with the Lawful Channel. I'm a personal injury attorney in Chicago, and the link to my website is in the show notes below. If you haven't already, would you please subscribe to our channel? And if you have any questions or comments, reach out to me. If I can't help you, I'll try and find someone who can. Okay, this is a little bit of a different kind of video for me. I'm a personal injury attorney, so I represent victims of dog bites. But I get so many questions on this channel and I get calls, my dog just bit somebody, what do I do? That I thought I'd do a video from the other side of things, so to speak. So what's the first thing you should do if your dog bites somebody? You need to check the laws in your state. This is a very local issue. Oftentimes when I get asked questions about dog bite on this channel, I have to refer people to a local attorney because every state is different. Every law is different. In Illinois, the law may be different than it is in Georgia, for example. Now for this video, and generally speaking, there are two broad camps that you usually see in dog bite cases. And one is like what we have in Illinois, which is called strict liability, which just basically means that if your dog bites somebody, you're on the hook, period, end of story. It's just a matter of damages, as long as certain circumstances don't occur, like you're not trespassing, etc. But in other states that follow what's called a one bite rule, your dog may have one bite for free, meaning you're not on the hook for any damages for that first bite, but you will be on the hook for the second bite and beyond. There are lots of other types of laws that relate to dogs too. So for example, your state may just follow a general negligence rule. Was the dog owner negligent in supervising their animal? Some states have different laws about dangerous breeds, like pit bulls, generally speaking, are the ones that come to mind. And so you really have to check the law in your state to see what's going on. And I can provide you general information, but I really recommend you speak to a local attorney about this issue. So that's the liability issue. Who's responsible for the dog bite? The second issue is really one that it's really a preventative issue. If you own a dog, get it vaccinated. Your state probably mandates it anyways. And restrain your dog. Keep your dog on a leash. It's amazing. You know, I live in Chicago. It's amazing how many people walk around with their dogs not on leashes. So take some preventative steps to ensure that the dog bite doesn't happen. I know it's a no-brainer, and if you're watching this video, you may be saying, hey, thanks for the information now. But those are the steps that I recommend that you take before a dog bite happens. So what's going to happen if your dog bites somebody? Well, the first thing that's going to happen, chances are the victim's going to call the police, who are going to call animal control, and they're going to do a little investigation. A lot of people are worried about getting cited, getting tickets when their dog bites somebody. I have not seen that often, to be honest with you. Most of the time, the police just come in and investigate and do a police report. Now, that may vary on your local jurisdiction as well. A lot of times, people are concerned that their dog is going to be euthanized or killed. Again, I have not seen that happen either, at least here in Illinois. Maybe if the dog has a propensity towards biting, is a dangerous breed and has bitten many people, that could happen. But I just personally haven't seen that. So when somebody calls me and asks, are they going to put my dog down? I generally say it's not something that you have to worry about. Again, very generally speaking. The next thing you should do is call your homeowner's or your renter's insurance company. Now, I should have mentioned this beforehand, but another preventative step that you can take is having insurance for your animal. If you own a dog, you should have insurance to protect you if the dog, God forbid, bites somebody. So report it to your homeowner's insurance and your renter's insurance. I've had a lot of cases, now that I think about it, where dog owners didn't want to give up their insurance information. I never quite understood that. There's no better way to get sued than by not giving over your insurance information. Because if you don't give it over, the dog bite victim has no choice but to file a lawsuit against you to get the insurance information. So I would just generally say you should cooperate with the dog bite victim. Your dog bit them in the first place, and give them your insurance information and definitely file a claim on your own. Okay, so what if you don't have homeowners or renters insurance? Well, this is when it gets a little bit dicey. because the dog bite victim is going to get some medical treatment. They're going to have medical bills. They're going to have pain and suffering. Who knows what kind of expenses they have. And the question is, how are they going to get those bills reimbursed or paid for? Obviously, if you're able to, you might want to consider paying for their medical expenses and compensating them for whatever their damages are. But you may not want to. You may think they were at fault. And if that's the case, you may deny their claim or just ignore them altogether. So what happens then? Well, practically speaking, they're either going to do one of two things. They're going to drop it and just use their health insurance to pay for their medical bills. Or alternatively, they're going to file a lawsuit against you. And if they file a lawsuit against you, you've then got a couple more choices. One is you can respond to it with an answer and just go to your local courthouse and they can, figure out how to do that. Or two, you can ignore it. If you're in Illinois, though, and your dog bites somebody, you're on the hook for those damages. So either way, you're going to be paying either out of pocket or through your insurance. So what do you do in that situation? Well, let's say that the dog bite victim files a lawsuit and you don't show, so they enter a judgment against you, or you do show and you lose and they get a verdict of $100,000 against you. What happens? Well, practically speaking, do you have the resources to pay them back? If you do, you're going to have to pay them back. It's going to come out of your assets or they're going to garnish your wages. Realistically speaking, though, that doesn't happen that often. Realistically speaking, what's going to happen is that they're going to hire a lawyer, they're going to come after you, you're going to say you don't have insurance, and at that point, most times, at least when a lawyer is involved, the complaint or the allegation is going to be dropped. They're probably going to let it go. Now, if you do have insurance, that's a totally different story. Lawyers like me, personal injury attorneys, are looking for cases where there's insurance, where there's deep pockets, where there's resources to go after. It sounds bad, I know, but that's what we do. So realistically speaking, could you get dinged for a lot of money if your dog bites somebody and you don't have insurance? Yes, but practically speaking, it's unlikely that it'll happen. So what's the worst case scenario? Well, your dog bites somebody, they go to trial, you get a verdict of $1 million against you or whatever, and they come after you. You can't afford to pay it, so what happens? You may have to file bankruptcy. That's what happens in a lot of these personal injury cases, that there is very little insurance and there's severe injuries and the plaintiff still decides to go after the defendant. So in that situation, which is like a worst case scenario, that could happen. Chances are, though, you're not going to be faced with that. But if I was to sum up this video, I would want you to take away three things. One is restrain your animal. Two is get it vaccinated. And three is get insurance. It's so important in situations like this. Okay, now it's time for your take on the law. Did your dog bite somebody and the victim came after you for damages? Tell us about it in the comment section below. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this short video on what happens if your dog bites somebody. If you haven't already, would you subscribe to our channel? And if you're interested in checking out more about my law firm, the Chicago Legal Group, a link to our website is in the description below. Thanks very much, and we'll see you on the next video.